Alright, so in this video I have my Gameboy Advance SP and a fresh delivery from God of Gaming. I decided, I'll just sort of start going through this while I talk. I have decided to continue my trend of doing recasing with Pokemon theme, and so I picked up the Pikachu Game Boy SP case from God of Gaming on eBay. I've bought from him before. I did bought both of those cases from God of Gaming. I was pretty pleased with it. I've bought from another manufacturer or another retailer too, and you know, it's I think that for the price, God of Gaming is probably the best place to go with. So we get new glass for our SP. We get our, wait, what's this? Oh, that's holding those in. Okay, so that's holding all of the buttons and silicone pads in. So I will put that back. It has like the little LED conductor things already there, and ooh la la. All right, so right here oh nice, look at, okay. One thing I was curious about, I don't think it said it explicitly in the listing, but well, two things that I like that I'm seeing. Well, one is these little plugs. I've taken this SP apart before, and in doing so I kind of stabbed up those these, I don't know, they're plugs, the little rubber grommets or plugs that cover up all of the screws. The reason I had taken this apart before is I thought that I could use it to do the AGS 101 mod, but unfortunately I could not, because this is the AGS 001. So it was you know, my attempt to modify a Game Boy Advance with a backlit screen was totally in vain, because this screen wouldn't work, at least not with the cables that I purchased. What I got super excited about, though, is that this little Nintendo sticker. I don't know why I got so excited about that, but look, it's nice and shiny and pretty, and it'll go right there on the case, so it'll be it'll look very official. So I have this is helps obscure the ribbon cable for the screen. We have our shoulder buttons red, got the red shoulder buttons and the red power switch, just like Pikachu has in real life. Not in real life. That's not the right choice of words, but yeah. So it kind of matches Pikachu's little red rosy cheeks, I guess. So, but you know, looking at this right off the bat, and this happened with both of these previous builds, is I'm noticing areas that I'm going to have to clean up before I assemble it, where it just does not look totally up to snuff. Especially we have these plugs, and if you look, let's see if I can get it focused. There, we can see, you know, that's where it was cut off of the injection molding thing. So that's going to be a problem. That's going to keep it from fitting like nice and snug into these holes. So I want to make sure that this is going to be, I want it to look nice, you know, taking my time to do this. I'm going to be playing it. My daughter might play it, and so I want it to look good. I don't want it to look like crud. So I'm just going to kind of inspect all of these and then maybe start scraping excess plastic off. I will need to find my knife. I don't know where my knife is all of a sudden. what I am going to use though, like every kit though, God of Gaming does send these screwdrivers. One is the tri-tip security bit, and then this is like the kind of a fine. What size is this? Doesn't say, but it's a fine Phillips head. I don't use these. I actually, after my first attempt with those, it was a successful attempt. They worked perfectly well. I just went and splurged on a set of bits, and I mean, this is not an iFixit like Gucci, expensive set, but it works really well for me, and they have pretty much everything you would need or want. So I'm gonna set that aside right there. All right, so I think we're ready. We can just start taking apart this case. Things might look a little different than Advanced Wars, of course. Things might look a little different than they would if you were cracking one open for the very first time. And that's because I have done a complete disassembly of this, and then upon realization that it was that it wouldn't be working for my mod, I reassembled it, and I've been playing Advanced Wars on it every night because Advanced Wars is a great game. All right, so we have after we take the battery out, we have 6 screws. We have like the 4 corners, and then one in the battery tray, then one right where the game goes in. They are all security bits. The one for the battery cover itself is not a security bit, and that's because, presumably Nintendo is pretty chill. All right, so there we go. Yeah, I've been watching all of these YouTube videos about right to repair and things like that, and like Louis Rossmann, and like the debacle with like Apple trying to, make it difficult for you to replace batteries, and I guess like this was made in a time where, Nintendo, I don't know how they feel about this now, but apparently they didn't have any problem with people replacing batteries. All right, we have 5 screws on the screen. Again, they're all security bits. All right. I made the same mistake I made last time. So the first time I took this apart, I forgot about 2 things. One is that I need to take the board out first, and the reason that is because in order to get the ribbon cable dislodged, you have to remove this piece, and that'll allow you to remove the screen. So to remove the board, we have 3 screws, 1, 2, and 3. Here, I'll point to this again. There's a little glare. 1, 2, and 3. These are Phillips head. I'm using like my 2.0 size bit, and that works just fine. All right, so now this is what I had mentioned before. So in order to get the cable out through this hole, we are going to want to remove this screw. And Nintendo did something pretty cool with this. I think it's clever. It's probably not that special to them. I'm sure other devices with similar designs have done this as well. Here I'm going to remove that. We have our silicone pads. I'm just going to pull all this out because it's all going to fall out anyway. So all right, so if I flip it over now, what you can see is that right in here, I'll adjust the light. Hopefully this will be... so the ribbon cable is coiled through here, and in order for that to happen, it's kind of looped around. And so that what that means is when it's closed, when the screen is closed, that loop is at its tightest. And then when you open the screen, it just sort of begins to unfurl, and it even like kind of fills in that space. And so once you have that off, you can like quite, or it's not quite easily, but somewhat easily weave that right out of there. Oh no, never mind. You don't. You take the back of that off, and yeah, then you can manage to cajole that out, and you can see where it goes in, then how it loops around. And in order to get it to advance like that, it is a it's at an angle. The ribbon cable is at an angle. You can see the folds in it from where I tried to install it into the Game Boy Advance case and failed miserably. Now, something else. I'm going to get all this stuff out of here. I do need the speaker. I want to keep that. When I removed this, I picked apart a lot of the sticker. Oh, goodness. All right. A lot of the sticker that kind of sat between the glass and the LCD itself. And that's going to cause me some problems right now because I had to get the front light screen off. Now, the difference between the backlit screen on the 101 and this is that this lights your screen up, but what it's doing is it's lighting it from the front. And so that is this right here. If you're wondering what that is, that's just a piece of plastic. But what's special about it is down here there are, like I think maybe 2 LED lights, and it shines up the screen. And so, and it, I think it like kind of like travels up the glass, and it works pretty well. It's not as bright as the backlit screen, but that's how they accomplish that with the what am I talking about? That's how they accomplish that. It's not actually backlit, it's a front lit screen. So I think now I'm ready to just reassemble. I am going to put this in first. All right, so this is good to go, and I can set that aside for now. I was reminded about something that I need to solve, which is this. I need to figure out what the deal is with these. So I'm looking in there and I see like a screw. And I look over here and I see another screw, but I see like plastic tabs right there. And on this one, I see nothing. So I don't know if I can dig in and pop these covers off. But maybe I'll try that. Maybe that'll be, or maybe I should try this first, these tabs. Boom. All right. I don't know if you caught that, but here it is. Here's the whole assembly popped out. Okay. Oh, I think I have to reuse these. This is crazy. Okay. Oh, I just messed this up bad. Okay. So here's the old one. Then I can slip onto this the new one, all right, and that's good to go. But the problem is I acted so stupidly when I smashed parts of this off. I mean, maybe there is no way but to break these, but I mean, that can't be true. I think all right, then here's the other hinge assembly, and as you can see, there are these little feet that are supposed to keep the hinge in place. But I come on, focus there. All right, so these little feet are supposed to keep the hinge in place, but on this one, well, I snapped it right off. And so, probably not great. So that came out of the right side. I think that these might have to go back in, so I'm going to keep this one over on the right side. So the right side and the left side. Wow, that's really interesting. Not great. I just, smashed them apart, but, that's kind of my MO a lot of times. That's going to be our last piece. Right now we have our all of our buttons in place. I'm just going to kind of double check. Yes, looks beautiful. Not that you can, I mean, they make these pretty much idiot proof, so don't have to worry about, accidentally putting them incorrectly. They only go in a very specific way. Now is the time for those 3 Phillips head screws that attach to the motherboard. I think I have one of them right here. All right, so that is in place. During my last fast forward, I was talking about how because of these boards are brand new, I have to you have to tap the holes, and so what I've begun doing is going like 2 turns in, half turn back, 2 turns in, half turn back, just like you would do if you were tapping into metal or something. That seems to work pretty well for me. Oh, okay. All right, I'm gonna have to. So in this, they give you a great. They give you a lot of good stuff in these kits. We have all new buttons and everything. And what I'm seeing is, okay, this is what gave me pause, is that right here is my volume slider, and it's gray. It's like just kind of this gunmetal gray finish, and they gave me a replacement for that kind of gray power slider, but they did not give me a replacement for the gray volume slider. That's going to stick out like a sore thumb. I got to double check all these bags, because that's. Unless it flew out at some point, but the only thing that's gone flying right now is the hinges. So that's a bummer. That's like a pretty big hit in my opinion. Oh great. I screwed something else up. I got to take this board out because I did not attach I did not attach the ribbon cable. Jeez Louise, I'm a genius. All right. This will take, no time at all, really. And I suppose that I should actually take this time to properly install the hinges. And so this is all coiled up. This is ready to go. But what is not ready to go are the hinge pins. And so this is my one for this side. Oof. Oh, okay. I found the trick. All right. So these are very much directional. So there are cutouts. Let's see if I can. There are some cutouts right there on the sides, on both sides, and then if you look in here, there are some things like channels. What's the opposite of a channel? A rail. A rail is the opposite of a channel, I think. I think these rails, just make sure that we put them in properly. Let me check these rails. All right. So we'll get these in. Now, I'm going to I'm going to hammer these in just like I hammered them out. But I have a special hammer for something like this. All right, so this is like a nylon hammer. This is for removing the pins for watches. If you need to adjust the bracelet, and one side is steel, but this side, this white side that I'll be using, is like nylon. So hopefully, this will let me tap it in without breaking anything. Assuming assuming I haven't already broken something. All right, so this is the problem. I figured it out. So, you know, these are what give that lid that very satisfying, like, kind of snap into place. And so I didn't have them aligned properly. And so now I do. Not only is the hinge aligned how it should be, but the pin is aligned the way it should be. And it snapped into place. Now I need to just sort of what? Okay, do I gotta finish it like this now? Oh, wow, that's clever. Wow. All right, so this is okay. It's almost like it's like a puzzle piece. It was like a three-dimensional puzzle. You insert it first, the first step, when it's closed, and then to get it in the rest of the way, you have to open it up and slide it in. And so I believe that what that makes this, well, one, that's what made it so difficult to remove, is that I just smashed it out like a bulldozer. I just smashed them through. So I feel kind of lucky that they even work at all anymore, but it keeps them from falling out more so than just having it be a force fit. So that's really clever. I like that. Gosh, I wonder if I could find out like exactly how these work from Nintendo, because that's pretty cool. All right, anyway, I can get that. Here's my brightness button. Let's get that bad boy in there. Get this cap back on, hold that in place. Speaker cloth. Speaker. Because I'm a dope, I put it in. Yes, that's how I want it. Then I flip it over. Then I'll get this in the right way. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, but I certainly did when I was taking this apart. This ribbon was actually it almost looked like it was almost halfway pulled out. Gosh, this is just like one of the hardest parts of this, of reassembling this. And so I didn't really get everything locked in the way it should have been that first time. That first round of reassembly. I know, like, you're like, wow, this view this is great. What a great how-to video. Give me a break. Anyway, all right, so there we go. It's in. You got to get that in there, and I mean, it kind of looks like it's not contacting right now, but you know, if it isn't, I'll go back and try it again. I'm ready to get this all done. All right, so now the ribbon cable is installed. I have my speaker in place. I have all my buttons in place. These screws are going in a lot more easily because they've already been tapped in. I don't have to kind of fight with it. All right, Now I just had to make sure that, get my power switch. There's nothing else that's going on the inside of this. So I can push this down into place. Why isn't this? This, all right, so this should not be happening. What? What is going on here? Perhaps I should put this in up here. Maybe that'll help things out a little bit. No, it won't. Gosh, I'm curious, is this the same? Am I having the same problem that I did with? Yeah. Wait. Yeah, this is not square. This is actually the same problem I had with the Pokemon case for my Game Boy Color. It's not one of the few times where I didn't screw something up on reassembly. This is a we're just going to have to kind of force this in. This thing wants to be up, and I don't want it to be. So we can jump right into reassembling this case, though. It is hard to see, but the front light is indeed working. It's pretty faint, and you can tell on camera why that AGS 101 was the superior design. Excellent. Works perfectly. So I do have to crack it open for two reasons. One, because I forgot this very critical piece right there, but also I was sitting here wondering, why did they give me that little square washer? And the reason they gave me that little square washer is so that I could secure the battery cover. The original battery cover, the battery cover has to screw into something, and you don't want the battery cover screwing into plastic over and over and over again, because it would probably fatigue. Now, what are the chances that you're taking your rechargeable Game Boy Advance SP battery out over and over again? Probably pretty low, but that doesn't mean they want it screwing into plastic, because it's just less, it's not as strong, it's less reliable. So oopsies. Alright, there we go. Everything all buttoned up just as it should be. I have the battery in. All of the parts secured on it. The only thing left to do is to adhere the stickers. Now, unlike everything else on this, I won't be able to do this again, so I want to double check what way the Nintendo sticker is facing, and yes, it's just readable right when you hold this up. So this is fairly idiot proof. It's a recessed spot, so I can push it right in. There we go. That's damn cute. It's pretty cool looking. We have a little silhouette of Pikachu right there. Nice red accents for that. I mean, also the shoulder buttons are red accents. The power switch, red accent. Volume gray. I have to say that that's probably one of the most frustrating elements of this kit, is that they did not include that part. Now, in the past, when I've put these stickers on, alright, it's stuck. I've put them on trying to center that, or like get them up in the corner, but the problem is you know, they give you some wiggle room all around this, all around the case. So if you put it all the way on one side and all the way up to the top, it's off a fair amount. So if you really have stuck it on, then you have to use a heat gun to get it unstuck. So I try now to just center it as best I can and just kind of go from there, and it's been turning out fairly well. So I do have, I guess, one last thing. Yeah, I have to put in the little buttons. Now, with the original one, there's some adhesion very clearly. If you take yours off to if you disassemble yours and you pull these out, you can see that there's some adhesive that's holding these in place, but I'm not too concerned about it. I don't think I'm gonna have to do that, and I don't want to do that either, because I very well might have to take this apart later on. So yeah, here we go. Let's get that booted up one last time. I mean, this is a pretty handsome little device. I like the Pikachu style, I gotta say. Front light, yeah, the AGS 001 is just not. It's an inferior product, but at least I have a sharp new addition to my collection. So yeah, that's about it. Well, actually, just like a quick rundown. I had enough hardware with this kit from God of Gaming, which God of Gaming, here you go, come with a card, godofgamingshop.com. I got the hardware that I needed. The bummers are, you know, I mean, like, I know that this guy probably gets like mass amounts of stuff in, and he can't like quality test it all. He's not Nintendo, I get that, but you know, this is of 2 cases that I've bought off him. Of 3 that I've bought, 2 have been kind of warped. I've managed to get them to work, but that's a bummer. And the fact that there is not a red switch for the volume. I mean, I notice it, you know. I keep saying, like, about things like this, like, nobody's gonna notice it, but I notice it, and so I'm not that detail oriented, so I'm pretty sure that other people would notice this too. So for me, those are some pretty big bummers. But otherwise, I mean, it's pretty good quality. I would have liked, I suppose, also having the hinge pins included too. That was, I feel like I'm lucky that I didn't break them, do irreparable damage to them. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, like it or not, do whatever you want. I don't care.